conceptual framework for financial reporting. Actually احنا هنا we are talking about the main guideline for accounting. The main guideline for accounting يعني which means ان احنا whenever we are talking about conceptual framework احنا we are talking about established concepts that underlie the financial reporting. طبعا what do you mean by financial reporting? Financial reporting means the presentation or the preparation of the financial reporting or the financial statements. طبعا financial reporting include the main information to be presented by the company in its annual report. يعني including the 5 financial statements and any other information to be included in the financial statement. Okay. طيب, why do we need a conceptual framework? First, rule making should build on and relate to established body of concept. يعني we have to have established body of concept in order to issue standards. And in the same time, it enables institutions like the International Accounting Standard Board to issue more useful and consistent pronouncement over time. طيب, okay, a unified concept in order to make sure in all the institutions responsible for issuing the standards are within the same guideline, within the same framework. Okay. طيب, يبقى this is the need for the framework. يبقى the framework is unified concepts, help in rule making, to have established body of concept, or to enable the ISP to issue more useful and consistent pronouncement over time. طبعا pronouncement هنا not to include standards only, ولكن any pronouncement to be issued by the standard setting bodies. لأن ال standard setting bodies مش بس بتissue the standards, they actually كمان they are issuing other announcement to explain the standards ده. Okay. طيب. Actually, this is the construction or the layout of the conceptual framework. And you have 3 levels in the conceptual framework. The first level, the second level, and the third level. Okay, طيب. And actually we are going to start from the first up to the third. يعني the first one, why خلاص, which is the purpose of accounting or the purpose of financial reporting. Why do we have financial reporting? The purpose of accounting is to provide information. Provide information. طيب. Provide information about the reporting entity اللي هي الcompany, okay, that is useful to present and potential equity investors. يعني can be used by the existing owners and the potential owners, investors that we are seeking to attract in order to, okay, يعني invest their money in the company. طيب, والايكويتي investors بس؟ No. والlenders زي مثلا السبلايرز اللي احنا we are getting منهم raw materials on credit or on account. طيب, and other creditors in their capacity as capital provider. يعني مثلا for example bank. Okay, the bank is a creditor because actually we are getting loan in order to finance our company. يبقى the main objective بتاعي is to provide financial information about the reporting entity, the company, that is useful to present potential equity investors, lenders, other creditors in making decisions in their capacity as capital. طيب, how to achieve such objective? يعني how you are going to achieve such objective? قال لك first provided by issuing general purpose financial statements. General purpose financial statement. What is general purpose? وهو في specific purpose financial statements. Okay. The general purpose financial statements are the financial statement to be issued by the company. يعني for example, أنا as an investor, I would like to make sure that the company is doing good. فأنا I will go to the income statement. As a creditor, I would like to make sure that the company has enough cash flow in order to pay the liability. يبقى I will go to the cash flow. أنا as a government, I would like to assess the tax amount on the company. Then I will go for the income statement and the balance sheet. يبقى actually what we are issuing now to be called general purpose financial statement, which means it is valid for all purposes. It is valid for all purposes. Any one of the users can go and start to use a financial statement in taking decisions. This is why it is general. Right. But on one assumption, and the user have reasonable knowledge of business and financial accounting matter to understand the information. يعني users, creditors أو investors أو banks أو whoever having reasonable knowledge, reasonable information to understand what are included in the financial statement. This is the first the first level of الconceptual frame اللي هو البيزك objective. Why we are doing so. طب ممتاز. According to the FASB conceptual, يعني disregard FASB, we don't have a problem. According to the FASB conceptual framework, the objectives of the financial reporting for business enterprise are based on the conceptual framework ده. The main purpose بتاعه ايه؟ To provide information لمين؟ للcreditors وللlenders وللinvestors
لليوزر.
يعني actually احنا we are concerned with the user. فالconceptual framework ده المين objective بتاعه هو to satisfy the needs of the user for information. This is the main purpose of accounting. This is the main purpose of of accounting. Okay? طيب very good. ماشي. طيب let's go for the second level. And the second level, as you can see, it is a bridge between level 1 and 3. Level 1 saying why we are doing accounting, and level 3 is telling me how to implement accounting in order to achieve the objective. Well, level 2 is the bridge between the how and why. Okay, طيب يبقى actually I will go for level 2, and level 2 is divided into two sections: qualitative characteristics and elements of financial statements. طيب أنا I would prefer to go for elements first. Okay, يعني أنا I will go for elements first, and we will go back for the qualitative طبعا characteristics later. طيب يبقى this is the second level أهو elements. Okay, and he means here the element of the financial statement. What to be included in the financial statements? Mainly, we are talking about these 5 accounts. Mainly, we are talking about these 5 accounts. Is there any account in your mind that does not fit within one of the assets? What do you mean by asset? ناس بقى بتوع measure accounting وناس جامده. يعني ايه asset؟ Versus controlled by the entity, okay, as a result of past event, and from which future economic benefits are expected to flow to the entity. يبقى we are talking about resources, whatever the kind of the resources is. Controlled, not owned. Owned is not appropriate anymore. Controlled is more broad, including all the types of ownership and control. Right. As a result of past event, what are the past events? Past event is the transaction happened to give you control. يعني مثلا I purchased an equipment. This is a past event, okay, that made me acquire an equipment, and based on that past event, a future economic benefit expected to flow to the entity. لأن whenever I will use the equipment, benefit will be derived back to me. يبقى resource, يبقى assets, resources controlled by the entity as a result of past event. Something happened in the past, and from which future economic benefit are expected to flow to the entity, and based on that transaction, okay, we actually can drive economic benefit to the company by using that asset. Okay, this is the definition for assets. طيب, what about liability? The opposite بقى. اللي فات كانت resources, okay, خلاص controlled by the company. طيب, this is a present obligation. Okay, on the company based on past event. I got a loan from the bank. This is something happened that initiated present obligation. Type. The settlement of which is expected to result in outflow from the entity of resources embedding economic. يعني الobligation is there based on past event. The past event like taking loan, purchasing مثلا inventory or merchandise on account. Right. In order to settle, to pay this obligation, you are expecting that an outflow of resources will happen. يعني you are going to sacrifice resources in order to repay the debt or the obligation. يعني حضرتك خدت قرض، القرض دوت واخد بالك حصل، طيب عشان تسدده هيحصل outflow of resources في المستقبل، وهو ده اللي هو بيقوله هنا expected to result in outflow from entity of resources embedding economic benefits. Okay, طيب. Number 3, which is equity. طيب, equity is the residual interest in assets after deducting all liabilities. يعني the original accounting equation saying assets equal to liability plus equity. Right. If I shifted the liability to the other side, it will be assets minus liability equal equity, which means in the equity is the residual, the remaining after deducting the liability, okay, the liability from assets. يبقى الايكويتي هو اللي هيفضل بعد ما حضرتك تشيل اللايبيليتي من الاسيتس، الريسورسز اللي هتفضل هو ده الايكويتي الحقيقي. اوكي؟ طيب ماشي، اوكي. Income is increase in economic benefit. During accounting period. Okay, economic benefit to be received during the accounting period in form of inflow if you have cash, or enhancement of an asset. يعني for example you will not receive it in cash مثلا, but actually you are going to receive it in account receivable, which means it will be an enhancement of asset. You will get مثلا inventory against مثلا specific arrangement. Okay, يبقى it is inflow of resources in طبعا inflow or enhancement of assets or decrease in a liability. Now income is decreasing liability that result in increase in equity other than those relating to contribution from equity participants. يبقى you are talking about the income, it is economic benefit results in inflow or enhancement of assets. يعني assets will increase whether it is cash or non-cash, or it will decrease liability, which at the end will increase equity. Best from source other than contribution from equity participant, any investment that have made by participant. طبعا ما فهمتوش ولا كلمه. اقول تاني، بقول الانكم كنا بنقول كده زمان لو عندك equity, if you have equity it would increase by net income. طيب this net income اللي هي income that we are talking about will increase equity. طيب in order to increase equity, this means on the other side the assets will increase or the liability will decrease. And this is what is said here. Economic benefit in form of inflow of enhancement of assets, whether cash or not, or decrease in liability. Okay, طيب. But actually, both are not to be considered as contribution from equity participants. What is contribution by equity participants? اللي هو الانفستمنت, purchasing shares, for example. Okay, purchasing shares for example. يعني معنى كده ان الايكويتي هتزيد يبقى الاسيتس يا اما زاد يا اما اللايبيلتي قلت. لكن ما تجيش تقول لي اصل احنا زودنا راس مال الشركه، راس مال الشركه يبقى ده contribution from the equity participant، يبقى انا ده مش انكم بالنسبه لي. ده مش انكم بالنسبه لي. الانكم اللي هيجي من increase في asset او decrease في liability. اوكي؟ طيب. expenses is the opposite. In income it was increase in economic benefit. هنا it is decrease in economic benefit during accounting period. Okay. In the form of inflow كان في الانكم و outflow in expenses. Enhancement of asset, depletion of assets, or incurrence of a liability كانت decrease in a liability that result in decrease in equity. يعني again assets, liability, equity. If we have decrease or depletion in assets or increase in liability, this will result in decrease in equity. Okay, but from source other than relating to distribution to equity participant. يعني we will not include the dividends because dividend is related to equity participants. يعني ايه الكلام ده برضه؟ يعني الاكسبنسز هتقلل الاسيت، هتزود اللايبيلتي، يبقى الايكويتي هتزيد. طب تيجي تقول لي ديفيدند، اقول لك لا الديفيدند مش اكسبنس. ليه يا عم؟ قال لك لان دي ليها علاقه بديستريبيوشن اوف بروفيت للايكويتي بارتيسيبنتس. اوكي؟ يبقى الاكسبنس هي ديكريز في اسيتس او انكريز في لايبيلتي، لكن ما هياش ليها علاقه بالايكويتي. اوكي؟ طيب بيرفكت ماشي. Last thing before I move from the equity, I have to discuss with you what are the main items to be included in equity. يعني if you have a balance sheet and you have an equity section, what are the main items inside the equity section? First of all, I have share capital. Share capital. Retained earnings. Retained earning. What else to be included?
ده في الايكويتي يا دكتور؟
Yes.
والاكونت ريسيفبل؟
No, account receivable is an asset. And something we call comprehensive income, sorry, comprehensive items. Thank you. Comprehensive items. What do you mean by comprehensive items? Items other than equity participant transaction. يعني comprehensive income ده does not include income, does not include expenses. It include any ولا nor dividend. يعني الثلاثه دول ما يعتبروش comprehensive income. طب ما comprehensive income يعتبر ايه؟ anything else that will increase and decrease equity other than those. طب زي ايه؟ عندي شويه دولارات شايلهم على جنب، وبعدين جه الدولار مثلا كان ب5 بقى ب10. طيب انا كده حصل ضعف، يعني المفروض ان انا كسبت. بس انت بعت الدولارات؟ لا ما بعتهاش، بس احنا وي هاف تو شو ان الفاليو بتاعتها زادت، فساعتها هنكتب ديبت كاش مثلا وكريدت كومبريهنسيف انكم. خدت بالك ازاي؟ يبقى اتفهم ان الكاش زاد لو ان سعر الدولار زاد، بس ما هواش كابيتال جين، ما هواش سوري مش ما هواش اكشوال جين. واخد بالك ازاي؟ ما هواش كابيتال ايه؟ كابيتال جين. اوكي، فنعمل ايه؟ نحطه في ايتم منفصل اسمه كومبريهنسيف ايه؟ كومبريهنسيف انكم. اوكي، يبقى ساعتها واخد بالك احنا وي انكريزد الايكويتي بس بسورس تاني other than الانكم ان ايه؟ ان اكسبنس. ماشي؟ طيب كويس خير. طيب ده البارت اللي هو ايه؟ related to second level. اوكي؟ طيب let us test your understanding. والله المستعان. Arise this from طبعا احنا we are going to select the identify element or element associated with item below. يعني this is the statement and this is the element. لسه قايل حالا قلت الكومبريهنسيف مش كده is non-owner source. طيب anyway equal increase in assets during the year after adding distribution to owner and subtracting investment by owner. Comprehensive income. The revenue may result from الريفينيو يجي منين من دول؟
increase on asset B.
increase in assets.
لا دي يا دكتور.
دي لان هو هنا قال increase in assets from incidental بس، واحنا اتفقنا incidental لا، الريفينيو دي حاجه continuous، ما ينفعش تيجي من incidental ايه؟ incidental transaction. ماشي؟ طيب ده كان البارت الاولاني اللي هو الاليمنتس اوف ذا فاينانشال ستيتمنت. انتوا يا جماعه جدا، نشوفكم ان شاء الله في الكويز، ونشوفكم ان شاء الله الاسبوع الجاي على خير باذن الله.